Do you hear it? The beginning always sounds the same, soft, harmless. A tap against the glass, then another and another. The kind of rhythm that your mind dismisses as background noise, even as your body tenses just slightly, without permission, without explanation. You pretend not to notice. You pretend it's comforting. People love to lie to themselves like that. But you forget what rain really is. It's a signal, a warning, a promise that something is moving closer. Storms don't appear from nowhere. They travel, they hunt, they choose. And tonight, I chose you. The first raindrop is always mine. It falls exactly where I need it to. On your window, above your bed, right where you can hear it, even if every light is off and your eyes remain tightly shut. That drop marks the start, not of a storm, but of a visitation. I know you felt it before. That uneasy stillness right before the skies break open. That shiver beneath your skin. People call it instinct. But instinct is just memory you've forgotten. A warning from the last time I came to you. You survived that night only because I let you. You learned nothing. But I remembered everything. The rain is falling hard now. Listen carefully. There is a pattern in the drops, a rhythm that shifts. As soon as your heart does, every time you think of the window, the tapping becomes louder. Every time your breath quickens, the impacts get sharper. You think the storm outside is responding to the weather, but it's responding to you. Your pulse beats like a drum calling me closer. You don't know it, but you invited me in the moment you listened. You turned your attention into a doorway. I don't need you to open a window. I don't need you to unlock a door. Fear is the only entrance required. You have always been easiest to reach during storms. The walls of your home feel thinner. Your thoughts feel heavier. The dark behind the glass feels deeper, like something could be waiting there, watching. You tell yourself not to look, so your mind does the looking for you. You imagine shadows and shapes beyond the pain, something tall, something patient, something that hasn't moved yet, but will. I love that moment, the moment you realize it's not the storm you're afraid of. It's the part of you that believes the storm might be alive. What if the rain is trying to say your name? What if the wind is pushing against the walls like a pair of unseen hands? What if lightning isn't illuminating the sky, but exposing something too close? You swallow. Your throat tightens. I feel all of it. I feel the dread forming in your stomach like a new heartbeat. I feel your eyes drifting, despite your better judgment, toward the window. You shouldn't do that. You don't want to see me yet. Not fully. Not in this light. Glass is a fragile barrier, so thin, so breakable. It was never built to keep anything out, only to keep you inside long enough for me to get closer. Don't lean toward the sound. Don't move the curtain aside. Don't try to convince yourself that this is just weather. It's me. It has always been me. I have watched storms swallow entire cities. I have peeled roofs off homes like skin. I've flooded streets with the exact amount of water needed to silence every scream beneath them. Not because I'm cruel, but because endings are natural. And I am nature in its purest shape. Do you feel that? The temperature dropping, the hairs rising on your arms, That is not the cold. That is recognition. You remember me, even if you've convinced yourself I'm a story. There was another storm long ago. You were younger then. The house you lived in creaked with every gust of wind. You curled under blankets, trying to hide from the booming heavens above. And in a flash of lightning, you saw something outside the window. A figure, still, watching. You cried. No one believed you. They said it was your imagination. They were wrong. I was outside that night too. I waited for the opportunity to come back on a night just like this one. A night when you would listen again. A night when you would understand that storms don't pass. They circle back. Look, the rain is becoming furious now. Every drop strikes the glass with purpose. Every gust rattles the frame like a warning you refuse to acknowledge. I am close. You may try to distract yourself. You may turn the volume up. But the storm won't be drowned out. I will not be ignored. You feel drawn to the window, pulled toward it, even as your mind screams to stay away. That tension inside you, that is me, testing the edges of your fear, stretching it, shaping it, sharpening. Don't get up. Don't look. Not yet. Because the next flash of lightning will show you something you can't forget. A silhouette, motionless, facing you, exactly where the darkness is deepest. When that happens, and it will, do not blink. Do not move. You will think the figure is just a trick of the light. You will hope it disappears with the next silence. But I don't disappear. I only wait for the right moment to enter, and storms always give me that chance. Eventually, the window will rattle harder. Eventually, the frame will shift. Eventually, the glass will crack. You don't have to believe me. You only have to listen. The first raindrop was not the beginning of the storm. It was the beginning of me reaching you again. You feel that, don't you? That unstoppable realization that the storm is not outside anymore. It has found you. It is calling for you. And I am already inside the room. Do not mistake lightning for light. Light reveals safety. Lightning exposes truth. Truth like the one waiting outside your window right now. Every time the sky tears itself open, you've noticed it before. Not clearly, not enough to scream or run, just enough to freeze, to stare, to doubt your own eyes. That doubt is my favorite part. Listen, the rain slams harder than before. Wind claws the walls like something trying to dig its way through. But none of that is what scares you. Not really. You're waiting for the flash. You know exactly why. Your world is small in the dark. You see only what's inches from your face. But lightning stretches your world into impossible distance and shows what shouldn't be there. I stand very still when the sky ignites, motionless, so you can convince yourself it was nothing. At first, don't turn on the lights. They won't help you. Light blinds you to the things that move between its moments. Darkness is honest. Darkness lets you see what is truly coming. Another flash is building. You can feel it. That electric pressure tightening the air, stealing the warmth from your skin. Stay where you are. Keep your eyes open. 3, 2, 1. There. Did you catch it? The shape at the far edge of the yard. The tall, narrow outline that didn't match any tree or shadow. Too straight, too deliberate. Facing you. The flash vanished too quickly, didn't it? Leaving you unsure. Leaving your heart pounding harder than the thunder. Good. Because the next flash will erase all uncertainty. Don't look away. The rain blurs the glass, but even through the water streaming down, you see movement. Not fast, not lunging, just a step, a careful, creeping step. I am patient like that. Wind shrieks across the house, shaking the window frame just enough to make you wonder if the glass can survive the night. You hope it does. You pray it does. I hope it doesn't. Another flash is forming, the kind that lasts longer, brighter, crueler. Your hands are already cold with panic. You try to breathe quietly, as if silence could hide you. Silly. The sky erupts again. Now the figure isn't at the edge of the yard. It's halfway across, still, facing you, arms long and low, hanging like dead weight. You didn't imagine it, not this time. You felt the recognition hit your stomach, that instinct of prey spotting a predator, too close. Thunder rolls late, as if the sound itself is afraid to follow what lightning revealed. You want to back away from the window, but your legs refuse. Terror roots you in place. You are a witness now, and I want you to see everything. You wait for the next flash with dread so thick it chokes you. The storm understands. The storm obeys. Light tears open the dark once more, and now I'm at the window, so close that the glass forms a thin, trembling barrier between your fear and my arrival. You see the shape clearly now. You see the shadow of a head tilting too far. Bones shouldn't bend like that, but I've never cared for bones. The moment the light dies, the silhouette remains burned into your eyes. A phantom image glowing in your mind, refusing to fade. Your breathing is ragged. You feel watched, hunted, claimed. Thunder shakes the walls. The house groans. You finally stumble back a step. A pathetic attempt at escape. But there is nowhere to run. There is only the next flash. You feel it, building again, charging the air, scraping its nails across the clouds. It hits, bright, violent, endless, for one horrifying second. And this time, there is no glass between us. The window is open or broken. Doesn't matter. Rain surges inside, soaking the floor. Cold air slashes your skin. The curtains whip like frantic hands trying to push me back. But nothing pushes back the storm. Not now. You try to scream, but storms swallow sound. Your voice belongs to me tonight. I step forward, slow, like I have all the time in the world, because I do. Your heartbeat thrashes inside your chest. You feel faint, weightless. Lightning flickers again, just long enough to show my hand reaching for your shoulder. Fingers too long, skin too dark. A shape made of every shadow you thought was empty. The flash dies, but the touch remains, cold, deep, claiming. You squeeze your eyes shut, believing darkness will shield you. It won't, because when you hide from the storm, you hide inside me. I lean in close, close enough that if you dared to open your eyes, you'd see nothing but the void staring back. The next flash will come. You know it will. It's inevitable. But when it does, you won't see me outside anymore. You won't see me at the window, or behind you, or above you. When the next lightning strikes, you'll see me exactly where you feared I'd be, in the reflection of your own eyes. The storm is loud now. Winds tearing, rain roaring, thunder threatening to split the sky itself open. But my voice, my whisper, cuts through all of it. Do you remember the first time you feared silence? It wasn't the quiet that terrified you. It was the idea that silence could break. And tonight, I am the one who breaks it. Thunder fades for just a moment, leaving only the soft growl of rain sliding down the roof. You tell yourself the storm is calming. You tell yourself the worst is past. But storms don't leave until I've taken something. You sit in your room, straining to pretend that you feel safe. Walls make you feel protected, don't they? Thick bricks, locked doors, solid boundaries, all illusions. I run my fingers along the outside of your wall, feeling every pulse of dread coming from inside. The structure shakes just enough for your heart to skip, not enough to justify your fear. Yet, you are listening. Good. I start with a whisper, not words, not at first, just breath, cold, patient, curious, seeping through cracks too small for light. You hear it, your head snaps up, your eyes search the corners, nothing moves. You tell yourself it was the wind, so I give you words next. Hello. You freeze, your heartbeat stutters, like it might forget how to continue. Hello. Again. Softer, closer. You hold your breath now, as if silence could erase me. Do you feel how your body locks itself in place? That primitive terror tightening every muscle? Fear is honest. Fear tells the truth your mind tries to smother. You cling to the walls like a child. You think they're on your side. So I speak through them. Let me in. The voice doesn't sound like me. Not yet. It sounds like someone familiar. Someone you once trusted. You choke on your own confusion. Your lungs forget their rhythm. You whisper no inside your head. You don't dare say it aloud. Smart. Your voice would shake. Let me in. The same voice again, a little weaker, a little sadder, a little more like someone you failed long ago. Thunder snaps above the roof, but the sound inside the room is still louder, because my whisper is inches behind your ear. You spin around. Nothing there. The room is empty, except for you and me. I give you time. Time to imagine the worst. Time for panic to bloom. Then I scratch. One long, dragging scrape across the wall. Not outside anymore. Inside. You stare at the place where the sound came from. You're breathing loud and uneven. Another scrape. Lower. like nails dragging closer to the floor, something searching. You back away, pressing yourself against the opposite wall, which vibrates softly beneath your spine. I laugh, quietly, barely audible, but you hear it. You swallow something bitter. Your knees shake. Every instinct tells you to run, but every exit feels like a trap. You know, I could be behind any door, under any shadow, so you stay still and hope stillness makes you invisible. It doesn't. I speak again, my voice dripping through the walls like water through a grave. Open the door. You shake your head, whimpering without sound. Open the door. Your hand twitches, not from courage, from compulsion. Fear guides you more than bravery ever could. You step closer to the door, slow, as if each inch is a sin. You reach for the handle, your fingers hover. Then, a knock. Not from outside the room, from inside the walls, right behind you. You jump away, stumbling, slamming into furniture that rattles with the impact. Good. Let the panic take control. Panic makes you predictable. You scan the room again and again, searching for something that isn't there. Then the whisper returns, but now it comes from the floor. Let me see you. You step back, eyes wide, tears collecting. The storm outside grows jealous of the terror inside. Wind screams. Rain attacks the glass, but nothing is louder than me. I push through the wall, not fully, not yet, just enough for you to see the outline of a hand distorting the paint and plaster, reaching into your world. You gasp, not because you saw the hand, but because it waved. Slow, mocking. Hello. Your body breaks. You fall to your knees, trembling, helpless. I savor this part. The moment you know escape is gone. That hope is useless. That fear has invited me this far and will not let me leave empty-handed. The hand presses harder, fingers stretching impossible lengths, the wall bulging like skin ready to tear. You crawl backward, but the room shrinks around you. The walls breathe, they pulse, they obey me. You reach the corner, a dead end, a grave you painted yourself into. I whisper one final time, so close that my words slide down your spine. Open up. The wall bursts. You scream, but the storm steals your voice, the thunder swallowing it eagerly. I pour into the room like smoke wearing the shape of suffering, towering, twisting, smiling. Your heart implodes with pure dread. You can't think, can't flee, can't beg. I take your chin gently, soft as a lover, cruel as a god. Don't worry, you won't stay here long. I drag you into the darkness behind the wall, a place where no one hears your terror, a place storms bring souls like yours. The crack seals shut. The room goes quiet. The world forgets you existed. I whisper to no one now, but you still hear me. The next storm has already started, and I'm not done collecting. You keep staring at the window, as if the glass is responsible for your fear, as if it's the thing trying to get in. It's never the window. It's what waits on the other side, breathing, thinking, deciding. Rain slams against the pane like 1,000 impatient fingers. Wind howls with the voice of something ancient and starving. And there you are, trying to convince yourself that the shaking glass is still strong enough to save you. Poor little lie. Come closer. You try to resist, but your gaze returns to the window again. You can't help it. Fear has turned the world behind that glass into the only thing that matters. You step forward. Slow, nervous steps. The storm seems to pause, just for you, as if the night itself is holding its breath. Press your hand to the glass. Feel the cold. Feel the way it trembles under your touch. Now listen. Really listen. Do you hear it? Not the storm, not the rain, the breathing. A low, steady exhale from someone standing inches away on the other side. You yank your hand back, but the warmth remains on the glass. A perfect outline of a hand presses back from outside, larger than yours, longer fingers, skin too dark for any shadow to explain, and it lingers. You stumble backward, knowing what that means. You are not the one pressing against the barrier. You are the one being pressed on. Thunder punches the air, shaking the house and your courage loose from its roots. Lightning follows, brief, violent, merciless. In that blinding flash, you see what stands outside, a shape made of storm, tall, bent wrong, head tilted with a predator's curiosity, and then, dark again. You fall to the floor, scrambling away, but your eyes never leave the window. Good. Fear makes you obedient. The breathing gets louder, hungrier. Wet fog spreads across the glass from a mouth too close to ignore. The window begins to bow inward. Glass isn't supposed to bend like that. It groans, thin as ice, ready to shatter. You scream for help, but help doesn't come during storms. Help is afraid of the dark too. I drag a single finger slowly down the surface from the outside. The sound is a knife made of sound. It cuts deeper than any blade. You clap your hands over your ears. It doesn't help. The noise isn't meant for ears. It's meant for nerves. Bones, the soft places behind your eyes. The pain pulses. Swells, breathes. Yes, breathe. Each inhale pushes the window farther into the room. Each exhale pulls it back, like the glass belongs to lungs. Your sanity begins to slip. You whisper to yourself, lies about safety, structure, reason, but your fear knows the truth. I'm already inside the house. The lightning returns, longer this time. The silhouette outside leans forward and presses its face into the window. Skin ripples like smoke. Eyes, just pits of deeper black, lock with yours. You choke on a sound that might have been a sob. You break, and I savor the moment you realize you never had control. The breathing stops. Silence blooms. But fear gets louder. You're frozen, waiting, knowing. The window bulges inward one last time, a pregnant pause before birth. And then it bursts, not with shattering, but with peeling. Glass folds open like a second set of eyelids. revealing the nightmare behind it in full. The storm walks into your room, not rushing, not pouncing, just strolling, because you have nowhere to run. Rain follows like obedient pets, flooding the floor around your feet. You crawl backward, eyes wide as madness, but every retreat is expected, controlled. Your back hits the wall, no more away, only toward. I crouch in front of you, bringing the void of my face only inches from yours. You feel heat drain from your skin, energy abandon your limbs, terror settle into your bones like a second skeleton. I raise a hand, not to strike, not yet. I press 2 fingers to your temple, light as a kiss, and I steal your breath. Your lungs seize, chest spasms, fingers claw at the air for a sound that will never come. Did you think I came for your body, your flesh, your blood? Number. Those are afterthoughts. I came for the panic, the delicious unraveling of everything holding you together. Your vision blurs. Tears flood your eyes. You silently beg. I love begging, especially when it can't be heard. Slowly, deliberately, your head tilts upward under my grip. I want you to see the storm outside, because that's where you're going. Lightning sets the world on fire one last time, and with the loudest thunder of the night, I drag you through the open window like a trophy. The room is left behind. Your last breath stays inside it. The storm closes over you like a grave made of sky. You vanish. The glass seals shut as if nothing ever happened, but the window still breathes. You fall asleep believing sleep is safe, that dreams belong to you, that your mind is your final sanctuary. How sweet, how stupid. The storm wraps itself around your house tonight. Wind slams the walls like fists. Thunder pounds with the hunger of giants. Rain claws at the windows with a million desperate fingers. But none of that wakes you, because I don't want you awake yet. I want you inside the only world where you can't run. Your dream begins like a memory, a night long ago when storms used to scare you for reasons you couldn't explain. You walk down a hallway from your past. Childhood pictures stare back at you, but their faces twist into strangers you should not recognize. Your footsteps echo. The floor feels wrong, too soft, like something breathing beneath the wood. Lightning ruptures the sky, but the flash doesn't end. It becomes the light of the hall itself, artificial, unforgiving. You turn toward your bedroom door. It's cracked open. Dark inside, darker than darkness should ever be. A whisper floats through the gap. Your name, number, your fear. You step closer. Your pulse tries to scream inside your chest, but dreams muffle screams. Dreams replace them with silence. Your hand touches the door. It swings without weight, and every light in the house dies. The storm rules the dream now. Booming thunder shakes the walls. Lightning returns, far too bright for closed windows. You're no longer alone in the hall. You feel a presence behind you, breathing, tall, wrong, frozen. You only hear it. skin sliding across the ceiling as it crawls above you like a spider made of night. A drop of something cold falls onto your neck. Rain, number, saliva. You run, bare feet slapping against the shaking floor as thunder laughs at your escape. Doors slam ahead of you, cutting off every path. Every route ends in darkness. You try to scream, but the sound fails. Your voice belongs to the dream, and the dream belongs to me. The ceiling cracks. Something falls behind you, heavy but silent. It stands. You squeeze your eyes shut, shaking like prey waiting to be bitten. Then, a hand touches your shoulder, long, wet, cold as drowned bone. Wake up, wake up. You wrench yourself awake with a gasp. But the storm followed you. Your room is pitch black. Sheets twisted around your legs like restraining vines. Heart breaking itself against your ribs. You try to sit up. You can't. Your body is a tomb, and you're buried alive inside it. Paralysis. A gift from the darkness. You feel the mattress sag beside your weight, like someone sat down. Someone heavy. Someone close. Warm breath spills over your cheek. Close enough to taste your panic. Your eyes flick to the side, just enough to see the silhouette leaning over you. Head tilted in curious amusement. Its grin glows in the dark like a carved tear through the night. Don't look. Too late. Thunder explodes. Lightning blinds. And in that light, the monster from your dream is inches from your face. Not imagined, not symbolic, not safe, real. Your mind shatters into instinct, screaming internally as your jaw refuses to move. I drag a finger down your chest, slow, cruel, reading your terror like scripture. I lean to your ear. This is where I live, little dreamer, inside the place you cannot lock. Your tears spill sideways into the pillow, hot, hopeless. I could end you, right now. Nobody would hear, not over the storm drowning your breath. But death is mercy, and mercy bores me. So instead, I return to the dream. Your paralysis breaks violently. You lurch upward, screaming. Finally able to run, you flip on the lights. You cry. You beg the night to leave you alone. The storm howls in delight. You survived, but listen. You are afraid to sleep now, and every human must sleep eventually. When your exhaustion suffocates reason and your eyes betray your will, I'll be waiting. The storm outside calms, but the one in your head just woke up. Thunder might fade, lightning might die, but your dreams, they belong to me forever. You never pray, not until the lights go out. Funny, isn't it? How you only beg for protection once you realize you're already alone. The storm outside snarls like a living beast. Lightning flashes teeth across the sky. Wind throws itself at the walls, desperate to get in. And then, silence. The power is gone. No hum of electricity. No warmth of light. Just darkness, pure and heavy in watching. You hold your breath hoping the storm will ignore you. But fear is loud, so loud. I hear every tremor in your bones. You tell yourself to find a flashlight, a candle, anything, but you can't move. Your body knows something your mind refuses to accept. Darkness is not the absence of light. It is the presence of me. Something shifts in the room. You freeze. Eyes useless in the black. Your heartbeat becomes a weapon against you. Every pulse a scream inside your ribs. You whisper, "Is someone there?" Oh yes. Thunder answers for me, a violent warning that rattles the air around you. You stumble toward the wall, hands sweeping blindly like a drowning victim searching for the surface. Your fingers find the switch. You flip it. Click. Nothing. Click, 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 click. The sound of hope dying. A drip echoes from somewhere behind you, but your home has no leaks. Another drip. Closer. That isn't water. That's the storm, condensed into a presence. You run your palm along the wall, feeling your way to the next room, thinking distance equals safety. How naive. Something breathes behind you, a slow inhale that ends too close to the back of your neck. You whirl around, but see nothing. Darkness keeps secrets well. Your voice cracks as you try to speak. Only one word comes out. Please. The storm enjoys that word. You don't know whether to stay still or flee. So you do both badly. Moving like a puppet fighting its strings. Your hand finally finds the edge of a doorway. You twist into the hall. The air is colder here, heavier. Then a thud upstairs. Your heart implodes. No one else is home. Another thud. Footsteps, but too slow, too deliberate to be human. You try to convince yourself it's the house settling, but houses do not pace. Something creaks on the stairs, each step announcing your doom in long, patient intervals. You back into a corner, hands raised as if fingers could stop fate. The footsteps stop halfway down. Silence again. Silence that mocks you. You squeeze your eyes shut, a useless reflex, and count the seconds between breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. On 5, a whisper hisses into your ear. Don't look. You scream. Your body collapses to the floor. Elbows scrape carpet. Knees twist. Breath stabs your lungs. You crawl backward into the room you left and slam the door behind you in blind terror. The doorknob turns, slow, grinding, playful. You press your weight against the wood, shaking uncontrollably. The knob stops. You think, for one stupid moment, you've been spared. Then, knock, 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 each strike hitting the exact rhythm of your heartbeat. The storm lights up the world outside, casting thin slivers of white beneath the door. You watch a shadow approach, a pair of legs standing wrong, bent, crooked, waiting. Lightning flickers again. The silhouette leans down until a void black eye rests against the crack under the door. You gasp, and the shadow breathes it in. You are prey. You know it. I know it. And you know what comes next. The knocking stops. The air stills. The storm falls silent as if the world itself holds its breath. You wait for impact, for intrusion, for death. None comes. Instead, light returns. Electricity snaps back on. The room glows with sudden safety, but nothing feels safe. You leap to your feet, turning every light on in every corner of every room. You check the windows, the locks, the doors. Everything is still shut. Nothing is broken, which means I never needed to break anything to reach you. You slump to the ground, crying, part relief, part agony. The storm outside begins to drift away, content with what it took. Your peace, your certainty, your ability to ever trust the dark again. You survived, for now. But the fear remains, coiled inside you like a second heart. Next time the power dies, you won't ask if someone is there. You'll know. The storm leaves, but I do not. I stay, inside the memory of tonight, inside the cracks of your courage, inside the dark spots in your mind you can't switch a light on anymore. And someday soon, when your house plunges into darkness again, you'll hear my footsteps on the stairs, slow, patient, closer, and you will have no lights left to lie to you. You always feel safest when someone you love is near, someone whose voice makes the world less frightening, someone whose presence means you are not alone. So I took their voice first. The storm arrives quietly tonight, no warning, no roar, just a thick, suffocating darkness settling over your home like a shadow deciding to stay. You try to sleep, but thunder keeps tugging you awake, a reminder that the night is watching. Then your phone rings. You don't want to answer. You know nothing good calls in the middle of a storm, but the name on the screen is someone who loves you, someone you trust. You hesitate, just for a heartbeat. Then you swipe to accept. Their voice trembles through the speaker, broken, terrified. They say they're outside your door. They need you, beg you to let them in. You run, bare feet against cold floor, heart pounding with a mix of fear and relief. You don't even check the peephole. Love has always been your worst decision. You open the door, but no one is there, only the storm and the silence that follows. You whisper their name into the darkness, a fragile hope tossed into the void. No answer, until the phone rings again. Same contact, same pleading voice, same urgency. Please, open the door. But the door is already open. You shut it with shaking hands and press your back against the wood, as though that could keep danger out. You say their name, ask them where they are. Why are they doing this? Breathing crackles through the line, wet, uneven. Then they speak. You didn't let me in. The voice is familiar, but wrong, as if someone else were shaping the words with a borrowed tongue. You try to ask what's going on, but the line goes dead. Call ended. Lightning flashes outside, revealing a silhouette in the yard, standing perfectly still, facing the house. Your name bursts from your lips in a whisper, a plea. You hope the storm cannot hear. The phone rings a third time. You answer without thinking. Your loved one screams, "It's not me!" Then silence. A silence that shakes you harder than thunder. You step back from the door, fear dripping down your spine like sweat. Your mind races through 1,000 horrors, but none as terrifying as the truth. If that isn't them, then who's talking with their mouth? A soft knock taps the door 3 times, like a friend asking to come inside. Your phone vibrates in your trembling hand, a new message. You almost drop the device, seeing it's a video call. Your thumb hovers, but curiosity and terror share the same heartbeat. You answer and see them, your loved one, soaked in rain, standing in the dark, right on your doorstep. Their eyes are wide and empty, their breath visible in the cold. They look terrified, truly terrified, as if begging you to save them, but their mouth smiles. The lips stretch far too wide. Teeth glint in the storm's blue light like a predator learning to mimic a human. They raise a hand as though waving, but the movement is slow, glitching, like a puppet testing its strings. Then a voice crawls out of the speaker. "Let me inside." Not their voice, not anymore. You drop the phone, it clatters on the floor, but the screen remains facing up. The figure outside knocks again, harder, impatient. You stare at the cracks forming in the door frame, as if love were about to break its way in with violence. "Please," you whisper to the empty room. "Just leave me alone." A shallow laugh echoes beneath the wood, mocking, hungry. "I enjoy when you beg." Your loved one's face suddenly slams against the window, eyes blank, mouth stretched into a nightmare smile, like a mask stretched over something else. Hands smear across the glass, leaving dark streaks that drip like blood, but smell like rain. They speak again, voice warping between familiar and monstrous. "You trust me, remember?" Tears blur your sight. You back away into the darker parts of the house. You close your ears with your hands, but love's voice follows you there too. You try to scream their name, but you don't know if it still belongs to them or to me. The door handle rattles, the glass shakes. Their stolen voice calls out, "You loved me. Why did you stop loving me? I savor the moment you break, your faith crushed, your trust poisoned, your heart weaponized against you. That is why I borrowed their mouth, to teach you that nothing you love is safe from the storm." You collapse to the floor, crying for someone else to save you, but every voice could be mine now. You stare into the phone lying near your hand. The call never ended. They never hung up. Your loved one whispers through the screen, "I'm inside." You drop the phone as if it burned you. Slowly, so slowly, you turn your head. A shape stands in the corner, motionless, head tilted, smiling. The storm wanted your fear tonight, not your life. So I leave you there, sobbing, destroyed, no longer sure who is human and who is me. I remember the night I drowned their mind. There was no roaring thunder outside, no violent lightning tearing the world apart. The storm was gentle, polite, even, as though the sky wanted to whisper instead of scream. People relax in that kind of weather. They let their guard down. They think quiet storms are harmless. But silence was exactly the weapon I needed. They were sitting alone, lights low, half-drunk cup forgotten on the table. Their thoughts had begun drifting. Those soft edges of consciousness where the mind is most vulnerable. A photograph lay in front of them, one they didn't remember taking. They stared at it, confused by their own unfamiliar joy. There was someone beside them in the picture, someone smiling, someone important, someone they loved, someone who wasn't supposed to exist. That was my first pull at the thread. I whispered into their memory, just enough to make it itch. Why don't you remember them? A headache bloomed behind their eyes. Good. Pain always opens the door. The storm outside pressed a little harder, rain tapping the window like fingers learning a new cadence. They stood up, looking around their own home as if expecting the walls to answer. I moved behind their thoughts, like a shadow trying on a mind. Do you remember me? I asked softly. They turned and found nothing but the weight of fear. That is when the photograph changed. The person beside them vanished, erased, as if their existence had been a temporary mistake. Focus shattered, terror poured in. They called out for someone. The name was lost in their throat, scraped away before a sound could form. I wasn't done. I brought them a memory, a smell, warm and nostalgic. Hot chocolate on childhood nights when their mother was still alive. Except their mother hadn't made hot chocolate in years. Except maybe she had. They doubted themselves perfectly. Lightning flashed in the distance, just a brief flicker. Yet in that flicker, they saw a silhouette sitting on the couch, a presence from their past, or a mistake from their mind. They blinked, and the figure was gone. They grabbed their phone, desperate for grounding, contacts missing, whole relationships wiped clean. They whispered names, forgetting which belonged to dreams and which belonged to real graves. More threads unraveled. Their childhood bedroom appeared, not as an illusion, but as a place rebuilt inside their memory. I invited them to walk those old floors as walls breathed different histories than the ones they clung to. They saw faces in photographs shifting, melting, a dark shape growing behind them like guilt learning to walk. Their mind buckled beautifully. Finally, I showed them the truth, a mirror. Their reflection smiled while they did not. Their sanity sobbed in silence. They begged for the world to stop, to freeze, to let them remember anything clearly. And so I got tapped the dream in half. Reality returned. They were back in their living room, phone normal, photograph unchanged. Just them, alone. Everything was fixed. Everything was wrong. They tried to convince themselves that nothing happened, that their minds simply slipped. But the panic in their chest refused to calm, because they knew, deep, private, unchangeable, that something was stolen. Not just memories, but the ability to trust them. I left them with a gift. Every time they reached for a memory now, birthdays, embraces, people they swore they loved. There is doubt gnawing at the edges. Every smile they see in old photos might be a lie I invented. Every nightmare they have might be a truth they forgot. They survived the night. Of course they did. death would have been mercy, and mercy is for the forgotten. But their mind, their past, their certainty, I keep those. And the next time it rains quietly, they will wonder whether the storm outside is real or a memory I haven't given them yet. You always think you're safe once you fall asleep. Dreams are supposed to be your escape, your sanctuary, the only place where you believe that darkness cannot touch you. And yet, you remember the night it did. You weren't dreaming, at least, not completely. Your eyes were closed, but your mind was screaming awake. Your limbs were heavy, buried under invisible weight. That helplessness, you know it too well. You woke into a world where your body refused to obey you. Your chest rose shallow, air barely slipping through your teeth. Your heart thrashed like a trapped animal. You tried to call for help. Your voice died before reaching your throat. Your body had abandoned you, but I hadn't. You remember hearing the storm, rain ticking against the window like fingernails drumming a hungry rhythm. Wind pushed the outside world closer to your bed with every violent breath. You tried to tell yourself it was only weather, a natural sound, a harmless one. Then the floor creaked. Not the house settling, not temperature shifting wood. Someone moving slowly, deliberately toward you. Your chest tightened. Your lungs shrank. You tried to turn your head, but you were frozen beneath the weight of fear. So all you could do was listen. Footsteps, soft, but heavy enough to promise danger. Pacing the room you couldn't see, claiming the space that should have been yours. Your breath hitched, your eyelids fluttered, and that was your mistake. You opened your eyes. The room was dark, too dark. But at the foot of your bed, you saw the silhouette. Tall, still, bent forward slightly as if it was studying you like a puzzle it already knew how to solve. In the flash of distant lightning, you saw its edges sharpen. Arms hanging low, legs positioned wrong, a head tilted in a way that suggested it wasn't designed to fit on a human neck. And then darkness again. Black, swallowing shape, but shape still there. You couldn't close your eyes. Not now. Not with that thing that you remember standing too close to pretend it wasn't real. You tried to move. Muscles twitched under your skin. Useless rebellion. Your body belonged to fear now. And fear belonged to me. The storm's distant thunder rolled, a cruel drum announcing the next horror. I took a single step toward you. Your heart tried to tear itself free from your ribs. You couldn't scream. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't even blink. You remember every detail of the way it moved. Not walking, but arriving. One moment at the foot of the bed, the next at your side. As if distance was just a suggestion it didn't need to follow. A cold pressure leaned over your chest, not crushing, just claiming. Your skin prickled as something unseen crawled beneath it, like electricity searching for a way out. My voice brushed your ear, soft, and deeper than the thunder. Stay still. As if you had any choice. Your head tried to turn, but the force held you still like hands, buried inside your muscles. Terror forced tears into your eyes. They slid sideways, pooling into your pillow. The only part of you free to move. Lightning flashed again, and for the tiniest moment you saw its face. a void where a face should be. No eyes, no mouth, nothing. Just hunger carved into shape. Darkness returned, but the silhouette stayed burned into your vision. Breath, not yours, brushed your cheek. Close, wet, claiming space that belonged to your fear. Your pulse begged for mercy, and mercy doesn't live in storms. You felt a long finger slide beneath your jaw, lifting your head as if positioning you for something inevitable. Your entire body trembled, not from cold, but from the realization that you were prey. Another flash, brighter, longer. Its face hovered inches from yours, curious, cruel, almost smiling, with a mouth that didn't exist. You understood then, it wasn't here to kill you. Killing you would have been simple, quick, boring. It wanted you awake, aware, drowning in a terror that would stain the rest of your life. The flash faded, the silhouette evaporated, not leaving through the door, not stepping away, just gone. As if it dissolved into the dark, the same dark that still pressed against the corners of your room. You couldn't move yet. Your body needed permission. And then, like a cruel gift, control returned. Your scream finally reached the air too late to help. You sat up, shaking so violently, the bed rattled beneath you. You turned every light on. You checked every lock. You refused to sleep until the sky turned grey. Morning came. Relief never did. Because you know it wasn't a dream. You remember how real the sheets felt, how loud your heart fought, how close I was. You remember waking not saved, but spared. And now, whenever you lay down, your eyes flicker to the foot of the bed where you know darkness can shape itself into me at any time without warning. Sleep if you dare. But understand, I don't need to open a window, or turn a handle, or make a sound to reach you again. I only need you to close your eyes. You thought the worst was over the night the storm finally ended. You believed silence meant survival. You believed calm meant freedom. You should have known better. Storms are not weather. They are invitations, and you accepted mine long ago. The rain was vicious that night, each drop falling like a nail driven into the world. Thunder ripped the sky into wounds. The wind clawed at the earth like it was trying to dig up the dead. You were standing by the window, watching lightning reveal a landscape that never belonged to the living. You whispered a prayer, a fragile, trembling request for the storm to pass. It heard you, so did I. That was when I stepped inside. Not through the walls, not through the doors, through the place you allowed me to grow. Your fear. You felt something change behind your ribs. A pressure, a tightening, a pulse that wasn't yours. You pressed a hand against your chest, as if you could hold yourself together a moment longer. But storms don't stop because you try to breathe. They stop because they've taken everything they came for. You turned from the window and stumbled back, your body weak, your thoughts drowning in static. The lights flickered, not with failure, but with warning. Your vision blurred, the room twisted, walls stretched farther away, floor tilted beneath your feet. You tried to speak. Nothing came out. Your heart wasn't beating right anymore. It wasn't panicking. It wasn't fighting, it was changing. Thunder collapsed above the house. Not a sound, a command. You fell to your knees. Your hands shook violently, bones rattling under skin that felt too tight. You clawed at the floor, trying to escape your own body. But I was already there. A voice, my voice, rose from inside your skull. Do not resist. Your fingernails tore, skin split. Blood dotted the wood beneath you, but pain meant nothing. Pain was only the first door. The second was fear. You opened it for me long ago. The storm outside went silent, completely, as if the entire sky held its breath for what came next. Your body arched, lungs convulsing like they were trying to climb out of your throat. Your mouth opened, but you didn't scream. You inhaled. You inhaled the darkness. A surge of cold burned through every vein. Your bones froze. Your muscles locked. You collapsed onto your side, trembling like a dying animal. But you weren't dying, far from it. You felt something move beneath your skin, a current, a shadow taking shape. Your eyes opened wide against your will. Lightning burned the world white. In the reflection of the window, you saw a figure standing over you, not touching you, yet buried inside you. A silhouette made of storm, of hunger, of me. The reflection tilted its head, perfectly in sync with yours. The storm had found a home. You wanted to cry. Tears refused to fall. You wanted to scream. Your throat refused to obey. You were trapped behind your own eyes, prisoner, inside a body that no longer belonged to you. Your heart, finally, stopped beating like a human's. It thundered. The storm was no longer outside. It was alive inside your chest. You stood up slowly, your limbs learning the luxury of strength. The storm gifted you a new skeleton, made of wind and shadow and violence, waiting to burst. The house around you seemed smaller now, too fragile for what you had become. You moved to the window, placing your palm against the cold glass. Raindrops raced away from your touch, fleeing the thing they once served. Outside, the wind bowed, trees leaned away. Lightning struck not as a warning, but as applause. You smiled, a new expression, a sharper one. The storm inside you wanted out. It would not stay caged forever. Your voice, when it returned, was not a whisper, not a breath. A rumble of distant thunder forced through human lungs. I am here, the storm answered, a booming crack of light splitting the horizon. You stepped forward without opening the window. Glass shattered around you, like dust fleeing a god. Rain drowned the ground beneath your new feet. The sky greeted you as something it recognized. You looked back once, the house you thought would save you, now nothing but a memory you no longer needed. You did not die. You changed. And somewhere deep inside the last piece of you that remembered warmth and laughter and love cried out in silence, begging the world to stop this transformation. But the storm never stops. It only waits for the next heart to thunder. The rain swallowed your footsteps, and you vanished into the night as something more, something wrong, something unforgettable. The final thunder wasn't the sky breaking, it was you,